Hi, folks. I hope you are doing well. My name is Lino, and I'm a native solution specialist for North America. Today, we will explore how to feed your full advertising funnel with native. You will realize that there is so many different ways to address user, no matter where they are in a funnel. On the next slide, we are going to explore our agenda. I kept pretty simple and straightforward. As you realize, we will follow the same idea of a marketing funnel by starting broadly with advertising funnel in general, and then narrate with some Microsoft Audience Network campaign structures. Then we talk about native and how it fits in your marketing strategy. What are the advantages of native? Afterwards, maybe the part that everyone is waiting for, the customer journey through MSN. You will realize that we have a solution to every single step of the journey, from awareness to maintain or re-engage. Finally, we will look at your ideal campaign structure. You might think like, oh, okay, cool product, but how can I organize my campaign so they can perfectly reflect the client strategy? No worries, I got you covered, my friend. Moving on to the next slide. Have you ever won that car? I mean, we have seen this car like everywhere, not especially that model, but like that car. That so let's start here. And my question for you: have you ever won? Every one of us has seen this giveaway car. Not exactly the same brand, but it has bring back some memories, at least for me. If yes, if you ever won, you can email me. I might need your help to win the lottery. So you have in front of you the definition of a full advertising funnel, top to finish. You do not see it right away, but it does include many steps. It includes awareness, as it addresses pretty much everyone. The world win in itself is inclusive. Consideration, who would not want a Porsche? At least not to resell it. Conversion, yes. You know better than me that there is a catch, which is your personal information, and do not forget to read the fine print. On the next slide, let's talk about advertising funnel. This is pretty much how the advertising funnel works and why preparing your campaign answer to this question. Am I targeting the right user with my ad copy, with my creatives, with my landing page? All of these elements should be considered. The cost of acquisition can sometimes be very high. An advertiser understood very well that it costs less to re-engage a client versus looking for new ones. Sometimes advertisers can find that it's just applicable for retail. It is not. Steps have different meanings, different goals. On the next slide, our second part here takes us to native itself. Why native? That is what we are about to find out. Apologies in advance. You can see where, how, who, and when. I wanted to do something with like the four W's, but let's name it the three W's and one H. Where it's premium placements only. Just think about seeing your ad on Times Square. This is pretty much what it looks online on msn.com. A massive info pane that cannot go unnoticed. Impossible to visit. We use highly contextual ad placements based on Microsoft's first-party data. The second point is how brand safety. That is something really important for advertisers, as you may know. On the other hand, did you know that 85% of consumers said they will only consider a brand if they trust the brand? We have a strict publisher standard and review backed up by AI technology. Who? That is what's good in native. Not only the placements, but also who are you targeting? You can reach 200 million monthly unique visitors in the US. How does it work? We rely on 20 billion, yes, billion daily cross-screen daily signal. Windows, MSN, Bing, LinkedIn, Outlook, and even Xbox gather every single signal to create highly qualified audiences which are entirely first party. To give you a few numbers, 64% are under the age of 45, 24% have a household income in the top 25, 10% identify as LGBTQ+, and this is just a little glimpse on who we are able to reach. Why Microsoft Audience Network? This will be the topic on the next slide, but I can give you at least three reasons before we move to the next slide. Number one, we have at least or more different products or for every single step of the customer journey, understand advertising funnel. Number two, yes, other native platform can deliver on MSN, for example, but we have better results. A CD or twice higher on MSN InfoPane, same results on Outlook, and 3.5 times higher on publisher partners. Number three, we have a unique product that is data-driven, based on user action, such as shop, browse, search, and email. Moving on to the next slide, the customer journey through Microsoft Audience Network. Here we have an accurate representation of the multi-step customer journey through MSN. As you can see, the question would not be what can we do, but more so how can we do it? Let's go through the funnel and see what MSN has to offer. Awareness is, or in general, quite broad campaign where you want to prospect, targeting broadly, can be based on demographic, for example. Broad audiences such as education, business, services, or food. We also have a similar audience product that we will use a seed audiences to create a similar audiences based on the characteristic of the seed audiences, visitor or converter, for example. We can also address users through native video, which is a very engaging format. Just keep in mind to adapt your wording as you go through the funnel. Remember the slide with the Porsche? At this point, the metrics generally relevant are CPC, CPM, CPV, or even CTR. Consideration is a step further as we are addressing users who are potentially interested. This is where you should typically use in-market audiences. Crafted using the 20 billion daily signals, they contain highly qualified users for pretty much any vertical. We also have the possibility to target LinkedIn profiles based on industry, but also company. Shopping feed is also a great tool to target users who are already interested with your product. This is the one that everyone is waiting for, conversion. Let's start with custom audience, where you can match back your customer base with Microsoft user base. An amazing functionality, I promise. We also have the possibility to use remarketing here. In this case, we would target visitors who did not convert, user who add a product to the cart but did not convert. In the case of a lead generation campaign, you can retarget user who stopped at step 1, step 2, step 3, but who did not convert. Next is maintain. That is an important phase, as converting a new client has a cost, and the best outcome is the same when you have the same client that actually comes back. You can use, once again, remarketing to enforce after a certain period of time that, of course, you can define. Shopping as well. We can also add, again, custom audience, as I explained earlier, but also dynamic remarketing, which consists of retargeting users who visited specific products of your website. Let's say it's that red watch, that would be that exact product that the client would be retargeted. Last but not least, expand. Once you have a list of converters you want to expand, and this can be done through similar audiences. How? By creating similar audiences based on converter, and you can also add a period here, 90 days, 60 days, or even 30 days. How does it look like on paper? Let's look at the next slide. On the next slide, we have more like a better idea of a campaign structure, a campaign structure with like different type of campaign. So this slide might look confusing at first, but I promise it's actually very simple. Think more of a mix and match, and I can show you it here with like 2 examples. So you can start with an unknown campaign, If you don't really know your customers, this unknown campaign will regenerate click, which are actual user visiting your website. This is when I would suggest to build audiences based on the user journey, landing page, account creation, abandoned cart, and then you can use these audiences into a remarketing campaign or a dynamic remarketing campaign. Second example, let's say that you are in real estate and you want to attract people in, uh, let's say, Austin, Texas. You can target LinkedIn profiles of employees outside of Texas from companies who plan to relocate, who are have already relocated. On the paper, this would be a LinkedIn targeting like Tesla or HP, for example, with Texas excluded from geo targeting. Moving on to the next slide, reach audiences across their decision journey. As an advertiser, you plan to connect with your customer multiple times through their journey, ideally serving the right messages at the right time to the right person. Our search and native offering help you target your ideal customer across the entire marketing funnel. Let's look at this example here. It's a fashion week. Let's say that you are reading an article on MSN about this season new trends and styles, and that makes you want to buy a new bag. You go online and search for your favorites on Bing and see a few options. You consider these options and compare prices of some of your favorite with more research. You're not quite ready yet and decide to abandon your research and get on with your day. We do this all the time. But the next time you're reading an article on your favorite fashion blog, you'll be reminded of the product you previously looked at through remarketing and product ads on the Microsoft Audience Network. You go back to resume your research on Bing and eventually decide to buy online or pick up your purchase at the nearest store. And that's how these different channel and touch points are powerful at every step during brand awareness, consideration, and finally conversion. At Microsoft Advertising, we are focusing analytics resources to study exactly how this journey forms and how different channels and touch points impact each other's. Moving on to the next slide, you can meet prospective customer like Olivia at all stages of their buyer journey. With the rich privacy complaint consumer insight, we have a better way to reach Olivia across her research journey. So when someone like Olivia visits MSN, Outlook, Edge, or other partner sites, we can serve her an audience ad layering on the right, targeting to meet her at the right moment. This is it. We're moving towards the end of this presentation. Thank you so very much for watching this video. I hope you have now a clear understanding on how to feed your advertising funnel with native. Regardless the step your user is in, you will always find one or more solutions to address them. Thank you, and please do let me know if you ever want the car. If you want more information regarding our offering, you can connect to the link that you see at the moment on the screen. Thank you.